and welcome to Money Matters TV. My name is Michael Verrill, and I am the VP of Strategic Development for the Sharp Financial Group. We're an integrated financial management firm helping business owners create value and grow wealth. Our unique, interconnected approach combines business advisory, accounting and tax, wealth management, and capital solutions designed to help entrepreneurs achieve business and personal success. Thank you for joining us today for our continuing discussion on growth stories, where we hear from entrepreneurs and advisors who share secrets and advice on what business owners need to know to grow. From time to time, financial issues related to healthcare, technology, life science matters and companies may be discussed on this show. Those discussions are not and should not be viewed as financial advice. Moreover, since the show is pre-recorded, any information shared today may not be current when taped and shown at a later date. You should always consult your financial advisor when entering into any financial transaction. I am joined by my co-host, Cheryl Beth Kuchler, today. Ms. Kuchler is the president of Ballantree Consulting and the founder of CEO Think Tanks. She has over 25 years of experience providing business advisory, coaching executives, leading strategic planning initiatives, and designing leadership, training, and development programs. Since 2001, she has focused her practice on business consulting and coaching services for CEOs, business owners, and senior executives for small to mid-sized businesses, and also running CEO Think Tanks. As always, Cheryl Beth, it's a pleasure to see you.
It's a pleasure to be here again.
I know you've been very busy lately with your quarterly planning meetings. Are there any specific themes that have come out of those meetings that you can share with our viewers today?
Well, fourth quarter planning is always starting to lead into 2017 planning. So a lot of the focus has been on not just what do you need to get done over the next quarter, but also setting yourself up for success in 2017. So if you haven't put your plan on your calendar and actually are taking time with your team, I would highly encourage our audience to do that.
Right, so not only your short-term goals, but also longer-term goals as well.
Yes.
Great, that's great insight. Before we introduce our guest, let's share a question from one of our viewers. Rachel Carr from Marion would like to know, what are the qualities you look for in new hires today in today's business world? I know you help your clients with a lot of hiring advice. Can you provide an answer for Rachel?
Well, certainly, Rachel, enthusiasm and passion is something to look for in any new hire, and it's something that you can't train. It's gotta be there. But we'll be talking a little bit later today also about the importance of core values and having a culture fit.
Are there any specific tools online that help folks with that hiring process identify
core values?
Yeah, the kind of intangibles.
There are certainly a lot of assessments that are out there. Predictive Index, Caliper, Top Grading has got a great snapshot that will give you some insights as well.
Great.
So there's several.
Yeah, that's great. So not only the skill set, but also the personality of the individual.
And their underlying, what drives them.
Yeah,
underlying
and
values.
how that fits into your company culture as well.
Yes.
Yeah, all very important. Hopefully that was helpful, Rachel. It's always great to hear from our viewers, and to submit for future shows, here's how to submit your questions to Money Matters TV.
You can have your questions answered on Money Matters. Please go to our website, money-matterstv.com. On our homepage, click on the banner on the right that says, Send us your questions. While you're on our website, you can find information about our host and guests, as well as show notes and links about this show and past shows. Money Matters is also available as a podcast on iTunes and Stitcher, so you can listen to Money Matters while you're on the go. That website address, again, is money, MONEY-matters, MATTERS, TV.com.
So we're back, and we have an amazing story to share with you today. This entrepreneur is an independent thinker who has embraced innovation and recognizes the importance of communication and culture to growing a successful business. It's my pleasure to welcome Paul Becker, CEO of DDP Roofing. Paul, thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me, Cheryl.
Absolutely. So you started a roofing business
Yes.
a long time ago in a very competitive industry with a low barrier to entry. Tell us a little bit about your mindset when you started that business in that environment, and then how has that evolved over the last few years?
Well, the mindset originally was out of necessity. I needed a job. I needed to find a way to pay bills, and I was a college student, and it was a difficult time in my life. I was in a little bit of a battle with my father and trying to assert my independence, so I left the house. I needed a job, and I was fortunate enough to find a company that allowed me the freedom to do what I wanted to do to make money and to learn a trade. So originally the mindset was to survive. How it evolved was I quickly found out that I needed to communicate with people on a timely and a regular basis for them to be able to make decisions and to allow them to be able to do what they were best at. So if I could provide them a service where they didn't have to worry about my trade, and it was a stress-free situation for them, that I was able to get business and to grow.
Well, and you talked to us a little bit about some of the early mentors that you had. Can you tell us a little bit about who those folks were and how they helped?
Early mentors, I think that would be a stretch. It was more of what drove me.
Okay.
It was the competition, the necessity to prove that I could do this on my own and to prove my father wrong.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was really a mentor situation or more of a defiance.
A drive to succeed
Yes.
in the face of odds. And what about, and how has that evolved over the last few years? What drives you now?
Competition, I guess the need and the urge to be successful and to be the best at what we do. I didn't grow up in a situation where we were in a construction background or environment, or anybody in my family did that, so I didn't really know anything else to get me started with this. But I did know that if I'm going to do something that I wanted to be very successful, be the best at it, or the best that I could be at it, and to make a career and a business out of it.
Okay, thanks.
So you really bet on yourself to be successful. Is there something in your development, your early years, that allowed you, or knew, had you done that before and been successful? What gave you that ability or thought that you could do that? I mean, was it just the drive to prove your father wrong, or do you think that you'd had other successes that you proved yourself, hey, if I put my mind to something, I can do it?
Well, my father was an extremely hard worker, and he instilled values in me that if you're going to do something, do it all out or don't do it. I played a lot of sports in high school and college, and my coaches I had very good coaches, and again, they didn't break you down, they built you up with the mindset that you can do this, that we're counting on you, and the competition, the teammates, camaraderie, being on a team, striving to be the best, winning. I think all that built a characteristic in me that it carried through in business.
Yeah, very many similarities, right, to a successful team and a successful business. You mentioned communication. I mean, every sports team I've been on, that's been key to success.
Exactly.
So is that, obviously you translated that into your business success? I mean, do you draw direct parallels? Do you hire folks that have an athletic background, have been on sports teams? Where does that filter through to the decisions you make today?
That's a good point. I try to do that, but we don't limit towards that. I mean, really, we hire individuals who have the attitude and desire. We can always teach knowledge and skills, but the attitude and desire of someone that's willing to do whatever it takes to succeed is the characteristic that we look for. And the competition with sports is, that's a good thing, but it's not everything.
Well, and you actually talked to us a little bit also about your competitive advantage and how you've tried to position the business. You talked about again, highly competitive industry, low barrier to entry. You talked about the need to focus on the customer, but also to integrate technology into the picture. I mean, what else? Has there been anything else around that has been critical to your success?
Well, technology is a big part of our industry right now. In my field with roofing, we solely do commercial roofing, and it's a lot of unseen areas. You just see the facade of a building or a sign of a retail store, but you don't actually see what's protecting everybody's contents and investments. So we use technology to provide visual aspects of the project, audio. We're our customers' eyes and ears that on their buildings. So we do due diligence inspections. We use technology to provide reports, timely information on situations where they need to fix things right away to prevent long-term damage. We provide reports before they buy buildings so that they know what they're getting into with their investments. We provide reports so that they know when they're going to be able to allocate capital expenditures. So technology is a huge thing for timely information and for just information in general.
Well, and that's given you a leverage with national accounts. That's what's enabled you to get national accounts and stay in national
Yes,
accounts.
it has. And again, a lot of the facility directors are based out of one location, but they might have 1,000 locations spread out through the United States. And again, they can't see these locations, but we can do that. We can enter our information into a portal. They can have access to that information. They can view it, whenever they have time to do that, and it helps them make decisions. And again, provides a stress-free situation so that they can do what they're best at.
Right. Well, and how have, millennials continue to come up in our conversations with business owners, how they're dealing with them. You actually said, in some cases it's been great because millennials are intimately familiar with technology, or at least many of them are.
Yes, they are. And the technology's changing rapidly and daily. And if you're not keeping up on technology and trying to constantly innovate your business, you'll be left behind. The millennials are terrific. I happen to have 4 of them, and
Personally as well as professionally.
Yes, they move at a light speed. What they can do on computers and handheld devices and how they pick up things, it's miraculous, to me. Mm-hmm. So I embrace it because I use as much technology as we can possibly handle, and the people in my company that we hire, it's mandatory. So the millennials we love. So
That's great to hear. Sometimes you hear negative feedback from employers, but I agree with you. In my experience, that has been the case. From an innovative standpoint, do you partner with anybody? Where does the innovation come from? Is it the processes that you've put in place, the way you approach the jobs, the clients you have? Talk about how innovation has kind of helped you outside of just reporting and communicating to clients. What other ways have you innovated the business?
Well, I think it's a combination of all the things you just said. We try to hire people from outside of the industry. Mm-hmm. And what that does is gives us a different viewpoint of how people are running their service divisions, how they're running their call centers, how their approach to sales, constantly looking at manufacturers for new products that will save our customers money, that will perform longer, warranty situations where they will extend the life of a project by 5 to 10 to 20 years, working with energy companies with solar projects, LED lighting projects. There's a number of ways. The standard operating procedures that we've put in place are constantly changing with the times on what our customers' expectations are. So it's everything you just said is we're always working and always evolving and always trying to innovate.
That's great. Now, you deal nationally with accounts. Do you have locations in other cities, or do you focus on your business just from this area?
We have 14 different locations. We have accounting, sales, and service centralized outside of Philadelphia, and we have service performance centers with our work crews that are in different areas.
That's great. How much do you use metrics and benchmarking against your competitors to measure the success of your business?
That's a very interesting question, because most of our competitors are companies that deal with new construction, with general contractors, with public work. We try to limit that as much as possible because we feel that we don't get the value that we're presenting to the end user. So we try to go directly to facility owners, developers, property owners, people that own their own facilities. And so it's a different model, and if I look at the industry as a whole, we're one of a very small amount of companies that do that, so the benchmark measures aren't very accurate. So what we do is we do our own internal surveys to measure how we're doing, and we constantly are communicating with our customers, getting feedback, letting them know we care and how we can improve.
That's great. So going direct has allowed you to maybe get better margin business than you would if you were kind of in a bid process maybe with everybody else from some public facility?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. Understanding the industry and where your niche is and how to be successful there.
Sure.
It's fantastic.
Well, and you've also talked a lot about the importance of communication. You've talked about the importance of creating a strong culture, but you made a comment to us about culture is a moving target sometimes.
Yes, very much so.
And again, just curious, as you've grown, as you've added people, what does that look like for you, and how have you dealt with that flexibility?
Well, it starts with the hiring process. I mean, you have to have an idea of who you want to hire, timeliness of the hire, and how you want to integrate them into your company. You also have to have a training program and be able to mentor new people with people that are company people in order to get them up to where you need them to be. So I always equate it to a baseball team. You have 9 people that are playing. When you lose your starting pitcher and you have to bring in somebody else, how does that change the dynamic of the team? If you lose your cleanup hitter, you know what you have to do. So if you lose those 2 key players, how is your team you're managing, the dynamics, how is everything going to change? And every time you hire somebody new, your culture can change. So it's really important for us to make sure that we hire the right people, that we have a great program for orienting people into our systems, that they follow the systems, and that they're being trained and mentored properly.
And putting the right systems in place and then documenting those systems was a big initiative that you took on.
Absolutely. We don't want people to be robots, but we also need them to follow our plan, because we have promised certain things to customers and we need to uphold that promise. So there's certain things that are absolutes, and there are, you just can't operate without them. But again, you don't want someone to just be such a mindless robot that they can't free think and present ideas also. So.
And the mentoring and onboarding process helps them to make those decisions.
Yes.
Here's the checklist, here's the process, but this is where you can color outside the lines a bit.
Right, and we're very result oriented. We ask a couple questions. Is it good for the company? Is it good for the customer? Is it good for the shareholders? Is it good for the community? Is it good for everyone as a whole? And if it is, then go ahead and do it.
So interesting on that, because I know when we talked earlier, you talked about being inundated in the beginning, wearing 7 different hats. I think many business owners, you've put processes in place, I think, that allow you to scale your business. The training you do allows you to have people that feel comfortable delegating with, and then that way you can spread your resources. I think a lot of business owners struggle with that kind of next phase of their business. Talk about how you went from that inundated feeling with 7 different hats to waking up one day and said, I got to put some process around this thing or it's going to kill me. Talk to us about that transition.
Well, I guess fortunately or unfortunately, I started in a position where I didn't have any money. I didn't have any investors. So the only way that I was going to survive was by working hard and doing everything myself. I said fortunately because I didn't have to pay anybody back or I didn't have any partners. Unfortunately, as I worked, literally 14, 15, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week until I got to that point. But had I known some of the information and knowledge that I have now, I would have started from the very beginning with these procedures that would have allowed me to grow a lot faster. So it was a lot of trial and error, a lot of hard work, mistakes, but it's something that every entrepreneur goes through at one point or another. It's when you're starting out and you have to be the president, the operations manager, the sales manager, the facility manager, the accountant, the HR person, and you don't have any money, you're going to do that. But you quickly learn all these things and you learn how to put them into place and how to do it, and then you can hire the people to do that for you once you grow. But it is difficult getting to that point.
So advice to business owners might be, particularly starting out, build your business from the foundation so that it can scale later on and be a larger entity rather than just getting stuck in the mundane day-to-day.
Most people never get out of the day-to-day mundane things. They are so buried with the day-to-day tasks that they can't see the big picture.
Right.
And it's not a fault. It's reality of what happens. So if it's advice that I'm giving, I think it would be look at your business of where you'd like it to be, and even if it's a dream, design it that way and then break it down to positions on how you want them to react in situations, how you want them to behave, what you want that to look like, and how you want it to be, because it's your company, it's your feel, it's your culture, it's your life.
Well, and what have you found to be the best communication systems? Like, what are your definite, like, we absolutely need to do X, Y, and Z if we're going to make sure that people are hearing what we want from them, if they understand the vision, with
employees, customers,
employees.
We have regular meetings. Each department has what we call a roadblock meeting every morning, and they review just the day-to-day tasks of what we need to do to get the results that we have, that are our goals. And we have weekly meetings, we have people that are around the country, so we use video conferencing as a very effective tool and cost-saving tool. We use email, texting, phones, just same as everybody else, but it's more of a program. It's not haphazard. We have scheduled things that we have planned and that we expect a certain amount of information to come back and forth with that.
Okay. Any video conferencing technology that you have found that really works well? Because that's one that I know a lot of our folks are experimenting with.
I'm actually in the process of updating it. So I wish, I met with someone this morning. And we have one right now, and it's good, but there's some glitches to it. People go in and out, so we're actually
looking at systems.
Yes, we are.
Okay. And what the other question that I guess we had for you, based on our earlier question and discussion, is what's ahead for you? What are you looking forward to in 2017, 2018? What kind of?
We're constantly looking to see where the economy is, where the hot buttons of industry are, and what are pitfalls. What's the bubble? So our thing right now is we feel that the interest rates are very low right now, and they're probably going to go up, if not definitely, and how that's going to affect companies with capital spending. We feel that the repair and maintenance aspect of my business will always be there and will really increase when the interest rates raise up. So we're positioning our company right now to expand, possibly grow 10 times in the repair and maintenance.
Wow.
Oh, that's significant. And any particular industries?
As far as where we want to expand it?
Yeah, where's growth?
Right now, distribution is very big. With the advent of online shopping and Amazon, it's huge. Distribution centers are popping up everywhere to get next day deliveries. Healthcare is becoming really big right now. Education. So the three areas that we're focusing on is education, healthcare, and distribution centers.
That's great. As we wrap up here, do you have a couple words of advice maybe from either people, like we said, starting a business or trying to get over to that next level where they really can start to scale their business and see some success for their hard work? Anything that you could share with us and our viewers?
Sure. I never thought I would say this, but I always viewed myself as the young guy in the industry. I was the college kid that went into business for myself, and I thought I knew more than everybody else. And what I really realized the hard way is there are a lot of smart people out there in every industry. And I was stubborn and arrogant enough not to listen to a lot of people that gave me very sound advice. And as a result, I learned the hard way, made a lot of mistakes, lost a lot of money. Thankfully, I'm still here. Humbly, I'm still here. So my advice is to, take everything with a grain of salt, but listen and research and be patient.
That's great. Great advice for anything that you're getting ready to start to do and be successful. Well, Paul, this has been fantastic. We really appreciate you sharing your story with us today. The next guest on Money Matters TV will be Fred Simeon of the Simeon Foundation Automotive Museum. As a reminder, you can download the podcast from iTunes and Stitcher, and you can also see our shows recorded on YouTube and our website, money-matterstv.com. On behalf of Cheryl, Beth, and me, we'd like to thank you for spending time with us today. Thank you.